How You Became a Hero. My Hero Academia, a Midoriya Izuku X reader. This is the story of how you became a hero. You even became a hero to the pros. You don't start as well as everyone else, but you soon grow stronger than everyone else as time goes by, alongside your best friend and crush, Midoriya Izuku. Now, you might be wondering what your quirk is. Well, it's known to be a new quirk that no one else has ever had. The quirk to have all the quirks. That is your quirk. Thing is, you weren't born with it. Now, be warned, your quirk will be every quirk in the world. And I don't want to hear the reader is too overpowered, because the reader is not. With your powers come major setbacks, which are deadly as you read on. I want you to pay attention because these setbacks will be said and you will get restrictions. So again, I do not want to hear the reader is too overpowered, please, and thank you. You will not be getting this quirk until later on. Anyway, on to other information. Having this power means all the villains are going to come after you once they find out about you and your powers. Now let's begin with the story, shall we? Warning, there will be swearing in this, and many other things. Also, if you see any mistakes in the chapter or in any other chapters, don't hesitate to tell the author, please, please. No hate. No hate towards the author or anything. This will be your point of view. You are 4 years old at this point. I was swinged on the school swings when I heard someone crying. I looked up and saw a boy with dark green hair sitting on the ground near a tree. I got off the swings and ran to him to see if he was alright. "Hey, are you okay?" I asked as I sat in front of him. He slowly looked up at me, and I noticed the small scratches and burns on his face, along with the tears that were falling from his big green eyes. I gasped and grabbed his hand, quickly pulling him up to his feet and walking into the school to the nurse's office. After the nurse cured him and put some bandages here and there, we went to grab our school bags because it was time to go home. As I and the green-haired boy waited for our parents to pick us up, I decided to introduce myself and become friends with him. "Hi, my name is..." Reader's name. "What's yours?" I said to him. My name is Midoriya Izuku. Thank you for helping me," he replied back. He sounded a little shy, so I smiled and held out my hand for him to shake it. And said, "Wanna be friends?" He gave me a little smile and he shook my hand. "Yeah, sure." And that was the day Izuku and I became friends. Time skip. You are 15 now. "Izuku, slow down!" I yelled at my best friend who was running in front of me. Why? Because there's a villain at the train stations, Tatooine station, and he wants to go see it get defeated by the pro heroes. He's a huge hero fanboy, and he loves seeing the pro heroes fight the villains, because then he gets to take notes in his notebook. He wants to become a hero, but unfortunately, when he was little, 5 years old, the doctor declared him quirkless. He was devastated. I heard him crying from the house every night. Note, you live right next to him, and his room is in front of yours. But after I told him that I was declared quirkless as well, we made a promise that we would become the greatest heroes with a quirk or without one. Until this day, we still kept that promise, that we both would work really hard to accomplish it. "Hurry up, slowpoke!" Izuku said, slowing down to grab my hand and drag me. I swear, this guy will kill me one day. Once we got there, we saw a huge villain on top of the train station, and a huge crowd watching as the villain began to rampage. Izuku began to drag me to the front so that we could get a better view. Pro heroes began to come, and everyone began to cheer. I was kinda hoping that All Might would come, but he didn't. I then remembered that he only appears when the villain is too tough for the lower ranked pros to defeat. Right, I forgot to tell you. Just like Izuku, I'm also a big fan of All Might. Not as a big fan of Izuku, but still a fan. After Mount Lady arrived and defeated the villain, Izuku began to take notes of her power. And he began to mumble some stuff I couldn't make out. I giggled at this, because I find it really cute. Yeah, I also forgot to mention that I have a huge crush on my best friend. I've been liking him since we were kids. And he saved me from this kid who bullies us a lot. That kid's name was Katsuki Bakugo. But Izuku calls him Kachan, because they used to be childhood friends, until Bakugo got his quirk and turned into a major quirk. Time skip. Izuku and I were now walking through the entrance of our school, Aldera Junior High. We made it before the bell rang. As we sat on our desks, I sit next to him. So, as third-year students, it's time to start thinking seriously about your futures and about what you want to do with your lives. Our teacher started as he looked at us all. I could pass out some career tests, but why bother? He shrugged and snatched some papers from the table as he smirked. Everyone, all of a sudden, began to show their quirks, as they also smirked knowing what he's going to say. We all know you lot want to go to the hero track. He yelled as everyone cheered. I let out a sigh as I looked over at Izuku, who looked annoyed with this. I feel the same, to be honest. Yes, you all have some pretty impressive quirks, but no power usage allowed in the school. Get a hold of yourselves, he said as everyone began to settle down. Hey, teach, don't let me in with these bunch of losers. I'm the real deal, but these guys will be lucky to end up as sidekicks to some busted Lester, said none other than Katsuki Bakugo, or in Izuku's case, Kachan. He seriously gets me pissed sometimes with his stupid, overflowing ego. He always thinks he's better than everyone else, and that gets me heated. You think you're better than us, Katsuki? Some guy somewhere in the class with a death wish said, as everyone agreed with him. Even I do, and I'm sure Izuku does too. Let's go! I'll take you on all here right now! Bakugo yelled back with a stupid smirk on his face. I wish I can punch that smirk right out of him right now. You've got impressive test results. Maybe you'll get into UA High, the teacher said as Bakugo smirked even more. People started mumbling here and there, surprised that he's gonna try for the national school, which is impossible to get into. I looked over at Izuku to see the shocked face he's making. He let out a defeated groan as he slowly put his head down. Even I feel like putting my head down in defeat. That's why it's the only school worthy of me. That's why it's the only school worthy of me, Bakugo said as he flipped himself on top of his desk with his fist raised up to his face. I aced all the mock tests. I'm the only one in this school who stands a chance at getting in. I'll end up more popular than All Might himself. People all around the world will know my name, and it all starts with UA. Bitch. he said, and right then and there I wanted to get up and throw him out of the window. I was so mad that my face was probably red, and you could probably see the veins popping out of my forehead. Oh, yeah, Midoriya. And reader's name. Don't you guys want to go to UA too? He asked, and that's when I was no longer angry. I was now terrified. In the corner of my eyes, I can see scared Izuku slowly looking up to Bakugo, who was frozen in shock. But from here, I can feel the burning anger boiling inside of him. Well, I guess this is the end for me and Izuku Midoriya. Everyone in the class looked at us, and silence was all that there was in the class. Until they all erupted with laughter. I felt my face turn red and embarrassment as Izuku's face looked really defeated and also embarrassed. There's no way they're gonna be heroes without a quirk. Someone in the class said, still laughing. Actually, they got rid of that rule. We can be the first ones, Izuku said bravely, standing up. But then Bakugo exploded his desk away, causing Izuku to fly back and land on the ground. Listen up, Deku! Bakugo said, standing in front of him as Izuku looked up him with terror. You and the bitch over there are even worse than these other rejects. You quirkless wannabe! You really think that they would let you two in when they could have someone like me? He yelled in Izuku's face. He just called me a bitch. He just fucking called me a bitch. That's it. Now he went and done it. He got up and walked in front of Izuku, glaring hard at Bakugo. First off, don't call me a bitch, you dipshit. I yelled at him, which was a mistake because he pushed me back, and I fell on my butt next to Izuku. No, wait! We weren't trying to compete against you. You gotta believe me. It's just that I wanted to be a hero since I was little, and so did... Reader's name? I mean, we may not have a quirk, but we can still try our hardest, can't we? He finally finished saying. I looked up an extremely mad Bakugo. You'll never be able to be with the best of the best. You both die at the exams, he said as everyone else smirked evilly at both of us. What have we gotten ourselves into? It was now the end of school, and everyone was leaving while Izuku and I packed our stuff. Man. This fight morning is all over the news, Izuku said, checking his phone. Well, obviously it's not something new, you know. It's an everyday thing. Heroes fight, they win, and they end up all over the news, I said, finishing packing my stuff. Well, anyway, I better write some notes down, before I forget anything, he said as he grabbed his notebook, but then it was soon snatched by Bakugo. I don't know what you guys think you guys are doing, but we're not done with our conversations from earlier, he said while swinging Izuku's notebook in the air. There's nothing to talk about, Bakugo. If you think you're going to stop us from going to UA High, then you better think again, I said, glaring at him and his pals, who were behind him. Shut it, you quirkless bitch, he said back to me, as I was about to say something else, but then one of his pals spoke. What you got there? His diary? Asshole number 1 said as Bakugo handed him the notebook, which had hero analysis for the future number 13 written on it. Ha! Don't tell me you're taking notes on how to be a hero! Asshole 1 said, laughing. That's so pathetic, Asshole 2 said while also laughing. Give Izuku his notebook back, you bastard! I yelled at Bakugo, who then smirked and bombed his book with his explosion quirk instead and threw it out the window. That's Cold. That's cold. Most top first string heroes have stories about them from their school days. I want the shrine of being able to be called the only student to make it to UA from this crappy junior high school. I mean, I am a perfectionist after all. He said in all his glory that I wanted to crush so badly. I'm so pathetic though. I'm just standing here, shaking and not doing anything about the situation right now. I'm not worthy of being Izuku's best friend. He deserves someone better than me. I saw Bakugo put a hand on Izuku's shoulder, making it smoke. So anyway, he said while giving a fake smile. Don't apply to UA, nerd. He said as he let go of his shoulder. Izuku tried to say something bad, but couldn't out of fear. Bakugo then walked up to me and did the same thing. Same goes for you, bitch. He said with that same sickening fake smile of his. How I hate his ass right now. After that, they left and I just hung my head low in disappointment. After the whole situation, we both began to walk out the school in silence. I looked up a little to see his book in the school pond, with koi fish surrounding it. I walked over and grabbed it and gave it to Izuku. I'm sorry, I whispered. Why are you apologizing? It's not your fault, he said. Well, I feel like it is, I yelled at him, catching him off guard. I couldn't have done something. I couldn't move. I couldn't speak. What kind of best friend am I when I can't even help you? How am I supposed to become a hero when I couldn't even move or say something to that idiot? You said as tears came out of your eyes. Izuku walked closer to me and he hugged me. It's not your fault. I understand that you were scared, and it's okay. We made a promise, reader's name. And we will accomplish that promise one day, together, he said as you hugged him back. Remembering the days you guys made that promise. Flashback, when you guys were 4 years old. Reader's name? Come on, it's computer time! Young Izuku said while holding his All Might action figure. My mom and I were currently visiting Izuku's mom as usual. I had an All Might cape on as I ran to Izuku's room to watch All Might's fight video with him. Jeez, I don't know why your kids are like this. I think it's really scary. Izuku's mom said as he put the video on for us. We both looked intensely at the screen, with the smiles on our faces while the video started. The video we loved was an old one. It's a disaster that happened long ago. The video of the best hero the world has ever known. As All Might came into the view in the video, and as he said his line that always had the fans screaming, Izuku and I began to jump up with joy and excitement. He's the coolest in the universe! We both yelled at the same time. Once we get our quirks, we can be a hero just like him, Izuku said to me. I nodded, agreeing with him as we fist bumped. That was a happy day for us, or so we thought. A week after that, my mom told me that Izuku's mom called to deliver bad news. That the doctor declared Izuku quirkless. Izuku's mom suggested that my mom took me to the hospital to check if I'm gonna be able to have a quirk or not. When the doctor did check and told me and my mom the news a few months later, I felt crushed. I was also quirkless. We were once again at Izuku's house. My mom and Izuku's mom were both talking while Izuku and I were sitting, watching All Might with their depressed faces that were full of tears. Izuku's mom and my mom were both staring at us from the bedroom door with worried and sad faces. I hated it. They felt pity for us. See that, Mom? There's always a smile on his face no matter how bad things get. Izuku said with his shaky voice. Even when things seem impossible, he never gives up. I said afterward with the same shaky voice. As we both turned around, both moms began to have tears in their eyes. Do you think we can be heroes too when we grow up? Izuku and I said. After that, both of our moms hugged us and apologized for us not having a quirk. But that's not what we wanted to hear later on. We both were laying on the floor and looking up at the ceiling with tired eyes. Hey! Reader's name. Let's make a promise, Izuku said while sitting up and looking at me. What's this promise? I said while sitting up as well. A promise that with or without a quirk, we will work hard to become strong heroes like All Might, he said with a shaky smile. As he held up his pinky, I looked at him and smiled, too. Feeling myself blushed a little. Yeah, I like that! Promise! I said as he locked pinkies with him. And that's how our promise came to be. Flashback over. I looked up at him and nodded, while I backed up and used my sleeves to clean my face. Okay. Well, we better head home. Your mom is coming over to help my mom make dinner. They're making your favorite food tonight, he said, while fixing his bag and walking towards you. Actually, you can go ahead. I left something back in the science class. I'll catch up with you, I said, remembering I left my notebook there with homework. Are you sure you don't want me to wait for you here? He said. Nah, go on without me. I'll see you in a bit, I said while running back into school. It was really quite quiet, and I admit it scares me, but I won't let that bother me. As I made it to the 3rd floor and into my science class, I go to my desk and look under it and find my book with my homework in it. That's when I heard the door shut behind me. I quickly look up to see if it was a teacher, but it wasn't. It was a man with white wild hair and glasses. He was wearing a white lab coat, and he had a cigar in his mouth. No, this is not Stain from Soul Eater. I decide not to ask him why he is here and leave. Sorry. I came back to get my notebook, but I'll be leaving now, I said as I tried to leave, but he pushed me back. I don't think so, young lady, he said with an ugly smirk on his face. He used his quirk to tie me up, and it happened so fast I couldn't dodge it. I stared at him with a horrified look on my face. You're gonna be testing something for me, he said as he laughed like a madman. And pulled out a medium-sized syringe filled with his red-like substance that he had a hint of gold here and there. Oh, hell no! As he injected me with the red substance, I screamed, but soon I began to feel dizzy and some reason not so weak. I then began to see black dots everywhere, and soon enough, I blacked out. His crazy laughter being the last thing I heard. End of 1st chapter.